What's going on, Jerome? So we obviously love Minnesota Vikings quarterback JEROME Ezekiel Cousins to death, and he was playing at MVP adjacent level before he popped his Achilles. And as of right now, pending what happens the rest of the season with Josh Dobbs and Jaren Hall, I actually think that Kirk Cousins could be back next year, re-signed. We shall see. But for the rest of the year, it is going to be the Josh Dobbs as well as the Jaren Hall show. And something that they bring to the table that Kirk never did was mobility, or is mobility. I always get my tenses mixed up. Anyways, but Josh Dobbs can obviously run as well as Jaren Hall has movement skills as well, as evidenced by Jaren Hall getting a couple nice runs in before he unfortunately exited the game. And of course, Josh Dobbs, 7 for 66 and a touchdown, just making something out of nothing, sometimes making chicken salad out of chicken bleep, and he was really good. Sometimes the defense is giving lemons. He made lemonade, and it does bring an extra dimension to the Vikings offense. And we see it around the league that mobile quarterbacks are in vogue. And now, yes, you can have a guy like Mahomes who is not very mobile, although I forgot who said this, but first off, Mahomes runs like a toddler who just grabbed their parents' phone and run away from him. And Mahomes runs 0.5 miles an hour faster than whoever's chasing him. Like, he's not fast, but he's just faster than whoever's trying to pursue him. But you look around the league, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, obviously, Jalen Hurts, having that mobility does add an extra dimension. And it all started and ended with Joe Webb for us. Blazer. What could have been, man. All right. And, of course, Kevin O'Connell. So Kevin O'Connell hasn't really had a mobile quarterback during his time coaching in the National Football League, unless you count like Johnny Manziel in that one-off year with the Browns. I don't. But Kevin O'Connell's 6'5", and he was like 230, but he could move, man. Like, he could absolutely run. So, in the back of his mind, he's got some Charlie Skedaddle plays all revved up and ready to go for this new offense. And frankly, I'm kind of looking forward to it because, Dobbs, putting up the 66 and the tutty, has 4 rushing touchdowns on the season, was averaging 5.5 carries, 5.5 yards per carry with Arizona. And throughout his time, like when he's been on the field, he can run. And Jaren Hall racked up and stacked up 9 rushing touchdowns during his time at BYU, over 800 yards rushing. Technically could have been more, except what the weird college stat quirk is that they count sack yards against you in rushing. Never understood that. But I do think that the Vikings offense would greatly benefit by letting these guys add an extra dimension by making defenses worry about them running. And Wes Phillips, Vikings OC, did say that they could be introducing some zone reads, which would be beautiful, man. So 5 things that a running quarterback brings to the Vikings offense. Number 1, threat to run. I mean, that's about as simple as it goes, defenses, when you have a non-mobile quarterback, like, they're not really too worried about him scampering out of the pocket. They play a lot more man, and they can turn the back on the quarterback because they're not really worried about the QB running and busting off chunk yardage. Also, too, like zone reads and RPO. So the Vikings offense, once things get settled with Dobbs and Hall, it's going to look a lot different than the Kirk Cousins offense. And obviously it has to, right? And I think that there is going to be a lot more zone reads. I think there are going to be some RPOs. So that's something that's spread around the league, notably with the Eagles, where, it's tough to defend. Where the quarterback, if he's adept at reading, is like, hey, if the DN stays home, we're taking it, or we hand it off to the running back, or we pull it down and we chuck it. And the offensive line's got to get used to, not wandering downfield as well. But also the whole zone read concept is that the Vikings offensive line has been very adept at run blocking and having numbers on your side, which is what happens with the zone read, inside or outside, greatly can help out the running game. So not only just the threat of having a running quarterback slows down linebackers and safeties just like a half a second because they got to stay home, which could open things up for running backs like Madison and Ty Chandler and King Kenne, but also just completely adds a different dimension to the run game. And first off, I'm sick and tired of just first down, just diving it where the running back usually just runs straight into the offensive lineman's ass. Can't have that, man. Number 3, alter pass, rush, and coverage. So with a mobile quarterback, like we say all the time, when the Vikings were playing Jalen Hurts or Justin Fields or whoever, like a mobile quarterback, you can't really just pin your ears back and run, because if you do that, if you get pushed past the pocket, then the quarterback has all these amazing rush lanes. And if you're caught in man coverage, everyone's back is to the QB. If you don't have a quarterback spy, he's going to rip off a big old chunk on the ground. And it's so disheartening, too, Like when a quarterback extends a drive by moving the chains, it's tough, man. So pass rush won't be as prodigious, which will help out the quarterback, which would obviously helps out the offensive line too. Plus coverage is where they got to be worried underneath, and you're going to see a lot more zone. You tend to do that with mobile quarterbacks, as well as potentially having a quarterback spy, so potentially taking a guy where out of the coverage on the drops, and also generally teams don't blitz running quarterbacks as much, so that also could help up with the pass rush as well, and also thin out things a little bit in the middle, in the hook zone areas. And number 4, extending plays. I mean that's pretty obvious as well. Where Kirk Cousins is a great quarterback when he's on script, like boom, 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 make your read, make your throw, right? But when things break down, Kirk was getting better at it, but that wasn't his game. And Josh Dobbs, Josh Dobbs was basically making plays off script the entire time Sunday because he didn't know what the script was. He's like, oh, it's a pass. Okay, I'll figure it out. That's exactly what he did. And what Dobbs and Hall both bring to the table is that they don't just run to run. They don't just scramble to scramble. They're looking downfield. They're trying to find a receiver. And also, it changes the way that the receivers have to play because they have to be ready to break off the route when they sense trouble, come back to the quarterback, show them their numbers, and make plays that way. It's you could say it's a little bit more of a schoolyard football as opposed to full route tree in the West Coast offense and all that stuff. But hey, it's effective. It absolutely is. And also, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Plus, third down threats. Like we said earlier, there's nothing more demoralizing to a defense and a fan base where, hey, you got them stone cold. You got a pass rush on. You're set in coverage on third and forever. And then all of a sudden, the quarterback just takes off and just moves the chains. It's so tough, man. And something that defense corners do have to stay up and worry about. So I think that, again, losing Kirk Cousins absolutely sucks. But I think that the fact that Dobbs and Jaron Hall can move, as well as on top, again, it's one thing if the quarterback just runs to run because they sense pressure and then they just want to escape the pocket. That's what Christian Ponder did. We can't have that. But Dobbs and Hall, they're not running quarterbacks. They're quarterbacks who can run. And I think that opens up a lot of new and interesting dimensions for this offense. And Kevin O'Connell, man, he has his favorite running plays from San Diego State and also his time bouncing around the league. He's got that in his back pocket. He hasn't had a quarterback where he can implement it yet, and now he's got 2 of them. So I think that KOC is going to be the notorious KOC going forward, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. 5 things a mobile quarterback brings to the Vikings offense. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.